Hey guys, I'm Kate, and this is usually my booktube, but today is Shadowhunters after show for episode 10. Oh my gosh, this episode was so great. Yeah, Shadowhunters was not the only person that randomly get cats. Say hi to. This is Houdini. Isn't he cute? He just comes out of nowhere. Well, anyway, so this started out as my favorite episode, and now it's somewhere between favorite and least favorite. Because, well, they might have messed up the only thing in the show that I was not okay with them messing up. But anyway, so I want to talk about this episode. What I loved about this episode so much was it was like someone paid the producers to make fan fiction. Now, I like fan fiction. You may not, but I think fan fiction is hilarious to read sometimes. And so this episode just made me laugh. I couldn't help it. It was so. I like seeing all the other versions of characters. I was dying laughing when we saw Luke, and it was like Magnus Bane made me realize that I shouldn't be a cop, which is why I am now a used book salesman. And I was like, oh! And then when Chairman Meow and Chort showed up, I was like, my life is set. It was almost as good as going into Earth 2 on the Flash. It was fantastic. Hey, my cat just left. What can I say? But anyway, so I was really interested. I was having a little bit of a hard time with what was happening in their normal universe because, like, the whole Parabody Jace Alec thing, I was just confused by that, to tell the truth. It was just like, really, what is going on? I feel like they just make up rules for the Parabody code lately. I'm like, I don't know. And having Izzy, like, locked out the entire episode, I was like, seriously? But I loved everything that happened in the alternate universe. It was so fun. There was no expectations, which made everything so much better. I mean, oh my gosh, Malik. When Alec is the confident one and Magnus is the one that's kind of like shy and like, and Alex just like is like, I like hard to get, and I'm just like, oh! That line came right from the 5th episode of Shadowhunters when Magnus said it about Alec, and now Alec is saying it about Magnus in the 10th episode. That's double, that's awesome, my life is complete. Like, I was so happy, oh my gosh. But then this episode became terrible. Because there was only one thing that I wasn't okay with them messing up. And it was the entire Jace Clary sibling thing, because that is literally what made me read the books in the first place. Was watching that stupid movie and seeing that they think they're siblings and being like, oh my gosh, that can't happen, even though they didn't really have that much emotional connection in the movie, but still, my brain was thinking, no, that can't happen, so then I read the books, realized how much better they were from that terrible movie, fell in love with the series, fell in love with Clace and Malik and Sizzy, and the reason I read the first 3 books at all was to make sure that Clace got a happy ending. That cat for you. But anyway, so the fact that they're messing that up is not making me happy. That guy who you saw in the locked-in room, that was not who Chase was supposed to think is his father. He's supposed to think that Valentine's his father. That was not Valentine. I don't understand. I mean, I always give them I always hope for the best, and I watch their shows, and I hope that they have a reason for what they're doing, all these decisions they're making, but I'm scared. I can only go so far with the AU. I love fan fiction, but I love it because it takes something I love and it makes it interesting in a way I haven't heard before. Or it takes a scene that we didn't get to see in the books and it shows me it because I want to imagine what was happening that spot. Or it shows me a different direction the story could have taken. And all these things are amazing, but there are certain things about the story you can't change. And that's why when this episode ended, I couldn't speak. I didn't know what to say. I was like, for like a whole 5 minutes. It was bad. And so I don't know what to say about this episode at all. Because in one way, I loved its whole fanfiction-esque route it was taking. I mean, there were so many this series, a lot of the fan base write fanfics. It is a big deal about the series. And I don't write fanfics, don't think I do. But I read them sometimes. And it's really quite cool. So I liked that until it went too far. And I get that this entire series is kind of like a really expensive fanfic, but there's just some things you can't change. And this was one of them. You cannot change the storyline for Clary and Jace. You just can't do it. And so I will hope for the best, and I will hope that they're not going to mess it up. But I'm kind of scared they will. Now, what are other things I could talk about? Well, Sizzy was super cute. Oh my gosh, I loved Simon in this entire episode. When he was being a bad vampire and attacking that guy and then getting shot a bunch of times and being like, hey guys, I'm not dead. And in the real world, I mean in the alternate universe, where he was human, he was dating Isabel, and I was like, yeah! And he was just being all cute, and I loved him. And Izzy was such a geek. Oh my gosh, for Star Wars show. I was like, that is such a reference to the books. Such a reference. Oh my gosh. And Jace was shy. Oh my gosh. And Magnus was shy too. And Magnus didn't have his powers. And Magnus was obsessed with cats. And oh my gosh, Magnus Bane. It was so interesting to see him that way. The commercial for his thing, the Magnus Bane commercial, was the best thing ever. My life was complete. And okay, so going off from the fact that yes, I love the fanfiction part of this episode very much, a little too much. Oh my gosh. The whole like getting into that dimension was also very different from the story. That's never happened. I don't think there's anything about alternate dimensions in the books at all. And so I don't know, maybe they're gonna connect that to something else in later on in the series and give it some origins, you know, make up some origins for it. But if you just leave it there and we never see it again, I'll be kind of sad because I mean, besides the fact that I think it's the coolest thing they've done so far on the show, you can't just add something new in there and give it new origins, because then they'll have no way for any of us to believe it's real, because it will just be a circle out in the lonesome without any roots or branches to hold it down or lift it up. It'll just be stuck. And this was a good episode, so I don't want it to be stuck, okay? So that's my review. I know I didn't do Becca's list today, but it's because this was just a very interesting episode to me. I just want to talk about it myself. I didn't really need a list today because I kind of just knew what I was going to say. And so, like, dislike, I mean, you can tell me if you like these types of episodes more than the ones I've been doing normally, though it's definitely easier for me to do the ones I originally did. And I really want to know what you think. I mean, this was a very interesting episode. I want to know what you think below, okay? So, I'll talk to you later.